Welcome to ASMR Storytime, guys. This just in. We're going to stray away from whisper. Instead, we will speak in our soft-spoken voice. I know, right? No ASMR whisper. Say what? A tragedy. But don't fret. The story time today is actually going to be this book called Poems to Fall in Love With, chosen and illustrated by Chris Riddell. I think it's amusing how he didn't write these poems himself. He just bundled together a collection of his favorite written pieces and drew pictures for them. Is this plagiarism? I'm just kidding. That was such a big thing in university, and it still is, so you guys be sure to write your own content. I wanted to start off with some tapping. Especially when I have this tempting hardcover book right in front of me. I lose all my self-control. I'm serious. It also sounds different depending on how you hold the book. But no matter how you hold it, I feel like all the tapping sound amazing in their own way. Sometimes it sounds like raindrops on a window pane or in a cave. Let's read what it says on the back of this book and switch over to scratching next. Oh yeah, this is the good. Doubt thou the stars are fire. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. William Shakespeare. Aww. I love this. It's so romantic. If you can manage to decipher Shakespeare's literary works, they're so good. How about we massage this book next? All that scratching we did earlier was a bit abrasive on it. We gotta rub that all away. Don't mind me. Just an ASMR massage therapy on an inanimate object. Not crazy at all. Just tap into your inner Marie Kondo. Always treat the things and people you love with care. Alrighty, enough warm-up tingles, and let's jump into this bedtime story for sleep, shall we? Poems to Fall in Love With, chosen and illustrated by Chris Riddell. Love and Friendship. Love and friendship. Love is like the wild rose briar, friendship like the holly tree. The holly is dark when the rose briar blooms, but which will bloom most constantly? The wild rose briar is sweet in spring, its summer blossoms scent the air, yet wait till winter comes again. And who will call the wild briar fair? Then scorn the silly rose wreath now, and deck thee with the holly sheen, that when December blights thy brow, he still may leave thy garland green. Emily Bronte. She's gorgeous, isn't she? I love. Look at that nice wreath. I used to draw these all the time when I was younger. They're pretty simple to draw. Locks. We owe it to each other to tell stories, as people simply, not as father and daughter. I tell it to you for the 100th time. There was a little girl called Goldilocks, for her hair was long and golden, and she was walking in the wood, and she saw cows. You say it with certainty, remembering the straight heifers we saw in the woods behind the house last month. What a little cutie! Oh my gosh, she's so plump. Well, yes, perhaps she saw cows, but also she saw a house. A great big house, you tell me? No, a little house, all painted, neat and tidy. A great big house. You have the conviction of all 2-year-olds. I wish I had such certitude. Ah, yes, a great big house, and she went in. I remember, as I tell it, that the locks of Southey's heroine had silvered with age, the old woman and the 3 bears. Perhaps they had been golden once when she was a child. And now we are already up to the porridge, and it was too hot, and it was too cold. And then it was, we chorus, just right. The porridge is eaten, the baby's chair is shattered. Goldilocks goes upstairs, examines beds, and sleeps unwisely. But then the bears return. Remembering Southey still, I do the voices. Father Bear's gruff boom scares you, and you delight in it. When I was a small child and heard the tale, if I was anyone, I was Baby Bear. My porridge eaten, and my chair destroyed, my bed inhabited by some strange girl. You giggle when I do the baby's wail. Someone's been eating my porridge, and they've eaten it. All up, you say. A response it is, or an amen. The bears go upstairs hesitantly, Their house now feels desecrated. They realize what locks are for. They reach the bedroom. Someone's been sleeping in my bed, and here I hesitate, echoes of old jokes, soft-core cartoons, crude headlines in my head. One day your mouth will curl at that line, a loss of interest, later, innocence. Innocence, as if it were a commodity. So cute, so cute. And if I could, my father wrote to me, huge as a bear himself. When I was younger, I would dower you with experience, without experience, and I, in my turn, would pass that on to you. But we make our own mistakes. We sleep unwisely. It is our right. The repetition echoes down the years. When your children grow, when your dark locks begin to silver, when you are an old woman, alone with your 3 bears, what will you see? What stories will you tell? And then Goldilocks jumped out of the window and she ran, together now, all the way home. And then you say, again, again, again. We owe it to each other to tell stories. Neil Gaiman. That's me. I am an old lady. Postcards from the Hedgehog. Dear Mum, beautiful weather. I saw a fox last night. Did as you always said and rolled into a ball. After a while it went away. I was a bit scared all the same. Wish you were here. Love, Simon. Dear Mum, lovely weather today. Just saw a really pretty girl. Not sure how to approach her. She makes me really shy, but just all warm inside. I rolled up into a ball. Wish you were here. Love, Simon. That's so precious. Dear Mum, it's raining today. I ate a slug. Wasn't as good as the ones you used to give us. Tomorrow, I think I'll approach the girl. Perhaps I'll take her a slug. She makes me ever so nervous. I rolled up into a ball. Wish you were here. Love, Simon. Dear Mum, sun's out again. This morning I was very brave, and I went to see her. I edged up very carefully, as you suggested, but when I spoke to her, I discovered she was actually a pine cone. I felt very embarrassed, rolled up into a ball. Wish you were here. Love, Simon. A. F. Harold. La Belle Dame sans Merci. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, alone and palely loitering? The sedge has withered from the lake, and no birds sing. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, so haggard and so woebegone? The squirrel's granary is full, and the harvest's done. I see a lily on thy brow, with anguish moist and fever dew, and on thy cheek a fading rose, thus withereth too. I met a lady in the meads, full, beautiful, a fairy's child. Her hair was long, her foot was light, and her eyes were wild. I made a garland for her head, and bracelets too, and fragrant zone. She looked at me as she did love, and made sweet moan. I set her on my pacing steed, and nothing else saw all day long, for sideways would she lean and sing a fairy song. She found me roots of relish sweet, and honey wild and manna dew, and sure in language strange she said, I love thee true. She took me to her elfin grot, and there she wept and sighed full sore, and there I shut her wild, wild eyes with kisses 4. And there she lulled me asleep, and there I dreamed, ah, woe betide, the latest dream I ever dreamed on the cold hillside. I saw pale kings and princes too, pale warriors, death pale were they all, who cried, La belle dame sans merci hath thee in thrall. I saw their starved lips in the gloam, with horrid warning gaped wide, and I awoke and found me here, on the cold hill's side. And this is why I sojourn here, alone and palely loitering, though the sedge is withered from the lake, and no birds sing. John Keats. The beautiful librarians. The beautiful librarians are dead, the fairly recent graduates who sat, like Francois Hardy's shampooed sisters, with cardigans across their shoulders, on quiet evenings at the issue desk, stamping books and never looking up at where I stood in adoration. Once I glimpsed the staff room where they smoked, and, if the novels were correct, would speak of men. I still see the blue minis they would drive back to their flats around the park, to blossom dairy and red wine left over from a party I would never be a member of. Their rooms looked down on dimming avenues of lime. I shared the geography, but not the world. It seemed they were establishing with such unfussy self-possession, nor the novels they were writing secretly that somehow turned to Mum's old stuff. Never to even brush in passing, yet nonetheless keep faith with them, the ice queens in their realms of gold. It passes time that passes anyway. Book after book I kept my word, elsewhere, long after they were gone, and all the brilliant stock was sold. Sean O'Brien. Sisters of Mercy. Oh, the Sisters of Mercy, they are not departed or gone. They were waiting for me when I thought that I just can't go on. And they brought me their comfort, and later they brought me the song. Oh, I hope you run into them, you who've been traveling so long. Yes, you who must leave everything that you cannot control. It begins with your family, but soon it comes around to your soul. Well, I've been where you're hanging. I think I can see how you're pinned. When you're not feeling holy, your loneliness says that you've sinned. While they lay down beside me, I made my confession to them. They touched both my eyes, and I touched the dew on their hem. If your life is a leaf that the seasons tear off and condemn, they will bind you with love that is graceful and green as a stem. When I left, they were sleeping. I hope you run into them soon. Don't turn on the lights. You can read their address by the moon. And you won't make me jealous if I hear that they sweeten your night. We weren't lovers like that, and besides, it would still be all right. We weren't lovers like that, and besides, it would still be all right. Leonard Cohen. Wormwood. Mama, remember your cool hand on mine. Remember I was 12 and consumed with thinness. Remember you lay beside me on the starchy sheets and talked about healing, about your own mother, how you became a kite, straining away from her, about the summer your hair knotted up like moss in the shower drain. Mama, remember I asked you why you decided to live, and remember you pressed your fingers gentle against my forehead. Remember you spoke in a low voice about the chapel, ringing with sound, the amber light streaming through the windows. You told me you cried. I cried, with your arms wrapped around my back. I cried because the body can never forget. Mama, I cried because I can never forget that winter. The winter the body I tried to carve out of marble became glass. The winter I held death in my mouth and proclaimed myself full. Margot Armbruster. You, an Achilles apple, blushing sweet on a high branch at the tip of the tallest tree you escaped. Those that they did not try know they could not forget you, poised beyond their reach. Sappho. I love this one. She looks so cute. Beginnings. It's no use, mother dear. It's no use, mother dear. I can't finish my weaving. You may blame Aphrodite, soft as she is. She has almost killed me with love for that boy. Sappho, translated by Mary Barnard. 64 squares. I'll never understand the rules of chess or boys. I only know the word checkmate. Perhaps that's why my love life is a mess. I haven't learnt the moves, it's all a guess. My instinct is to play my bishop straight. I'll never understand the rules of chess. I've had beginner's luck, though I confess my strategies are weak. I don't notate. Perhaps that's why my love life is a mess. I know a Kasparov, but I digress. I send my queen towards her captured fate. I'll never understand the rules of chess. A game? A sport? To me, it's simply stress. I'd rather scrabble or articulate. Perhaps that's why my love life is a mess. I gently tip my tired king to rest and stop the clock. I'm choosing not to date. I'll never understand the rules of chess. Perhaps that's why my love life is a mess. Rachel Rooney. She walks in beauty. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect in her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. George Gordon, Lord Byron. From Romeo and Juliet. Romeo, if I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss. Juliet. Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this, for saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss. Romeo. Have not saints lips and holy palmers too? Juliet. Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer. Romeo. Oh then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair. Juliet. Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake. Romeo. Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips, by thine, my sin is purged. Juliet. Then have my lips the sin that they have took. Romeo. Sin from my lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again. Juliet. You kiss by the book. William Shakespeare. The Indian Serenade. I arise from dreams of thee in the first sweet sleep of night, when the winds are breathing low and the stars are shining bright. I arise from dreams of thee, and a spirit in my feet hath led me, who knows how, to thy chamber window, sweet. The wandering airs they faint on the dark, the silent stream. The champak odors fail like sweet thoughts in a dream. The nightingale's complaint, it dies upon her heart, as I must on thine, O beloved as thou art. O lift me from the grass, I die, I faint, I fail. Let thy love and kisses rain on my lips and eyelids pale. My cheek is cold and white. Alas, my heart beats loud and fast. Oh, press it to thine own again, where it will break at last. Percy Bysshe Shelley. A small dragon. I found a small dragon in the woodshed. Think it must have come from deep inside a forest, because it's damp and green and leaves are still reflecting in its eyes. I fed it on many things, tried grass, the roots of stars, hazelnut and dandelion, but it stared up at me as if to say, I need food you can't provide. It made a nest among the coal, not unlike a bird's, but larger. It is out of place here and is quite silent. If you believed in it, I would come hurrying to your house to let you share my wonder, but I want instead to see if you yourself would pass this way. Brian Patton. Aw, he looks so sad. Poor thing. A lost language. There is a language on my tongue that I didn't even know lived there. I call it by your love. I call it you. It is all the softness I learned about you and all the seconds you meant to me. Tell me how to untangle and unlanguage you from my lips, when my you are caught on my tongue in every single word I speak. Nikita Gill. I want to say this one's one of my favorites so far. The orange. At lunchtime, I bought a huge orange. The size of it made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters and I had a half. And that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do. Just lately, the shopping, a walk in the park. This is peace and contentment. It's new. The rest of the day was quite easy. I did all the jobs on my list and enjoyed them and had some time over. I love you. I'm glad I exist. Wendy Cope. Okay, I think that's a good stopping point for now. So I will bookmark it. I want to thank you guys for joining me once again on this ASMR sleep journey. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment any thoughts you may have. I appreciate your time in doing so. Let me know if you guys would like a continuation of this book in a future video, or recommend me other books I can read. Good night.